Yes, what's up, Sacred Hum family? I hope everybody's doing good out there. Your friend, your friendly neighborhood preacher man, Fred Lynch. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I don't want to hold you long. We want to go and get right into our meditation. I have a very, very special guest that I want to bring to the stage right now. This is a friend and a teacher. And someone who's done some great things as far as shaping the way I look at meditation. And I want to bring him on up right now. So I'm going to ask him to come. This is my man, Gus Castellanos. What's up, Gus? How you doing, man?
Hey, Fred. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you. I want to say, introduce you to everyone. One of the things that I definitely want to introduce, and I didn't even do my shameless plug of the album, so I'm gonna throw it in right now before we get started. And that is, where are we at here? Not the background. Let me see. Let's go to the overlay. There we go. I'm learning how to get this StreamYard down. But the overlay of Sacred Hum. Sacred Hum is an album that I just finished, just did, sacredhum.com, where it's where hip hop meets meditation. And I personally have become a fanboy, if you could call it, of meditation, a serious, just wanting to be more of a better practitioner, how to walk in that and how to do it in my daily life, in my time, my stillness time, my quiet and calm time, so that I can take it back out into that world that is in need of that peace. I wanted to bring you into this meditation that we're going to do today as well, because you had a powerful way of shaping the way that I look at meditation. I was trained by you in a class that we talk about, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. So I just wanted to throw that Sacred Hum. Anybody can get it all. It's available on all digital platforms. But some of the teaching, a lot of the songs that I did were shaped by some of your teaching, my man. And so let me kind of throw your information up on here so people could see. I see you are Dr. Gus. Now, do you go by Dr. Gus Castellanos? You don't go by that, right?
No longer the doctor. It's been years since I practiced medicine. So.
Oh, really? But you got that MD on the back of there, man. So I like to call you Doc. I like to call you Teach. And
Sure.
then I just love how you got Gus. I mean, us brothers with those one syllable names, we have to stick together. It's not like they just boom, Gus, holla at my man. So tell us a little bit about what you do and your just what do you do?
Yeah, so you could say I do nothing and teach people to do nothing, and that's one way of framing it. But no, kidding aside, I'm a retired neurologist. I practiced neurology and sleep medicine for almost 30 years and retired about 15 years ago. And then I began teaching mindfulness in the form of what's called mindfulness-based stress reduction, specific mindfulness programs, which includes mindfulness meditations as well as just bringing moment-to-moment awareness in any part of your life. So it's more than just simple meditation practices, although they're a big part of the program, as you know. And then I then have modified that basic program that's been around for 40 years and deliver similar programs and different workshops and lectures and such to a variety of things, people, institutions, facilities. For instance, I just got out of prison. I just came back out of the prison mindfulness. Let me make sure I get it right. Yeah, I hold mindfulness sessions at prison for every week. So we adapted this mindfulness program for that. And so, it's a little different. As you know, I do it for teenagers in these summer camps sometimes. So yeah, and that's what I've been doing for the last 12 years. That's my so-called career.
Wow, I think that is so cool, just to take this idea of this mindful-based stress reduction. If you could break that down just real quick in just a minute or less, what does that mean and why? I personally feel that is very significant, and I've seen it work in my life, but why would someone be interested in something like that?
Yeah, so first of all, it has a lot of research. So sometimes it's easy to punt. There's a lot of research if you're interested in any condition, mental health issue, physical health, or relationships or performance enhancement. So that's my real easy cop out. But what happens here is we learn to be in the present moment in a particular way, with that non-judgmental, friendly, curious investigation of what's happening in this moment, moment to moment, and how that then can be used to see our mind habits, our tendencies that can serve us and the ones that can cause harm, so that we can choose better responses to the situations we arise for the benefit of ourselves and others. And so that's how it lays out. It's not just simply learn to meditate and be quiet and just feel calm and then go to your life. It's to do much more than that. So.
Wow. And so when you're able to do that and then take it back into that everyday life, and when things are going fully fast, one of the ways that it looked like for me is when I was a kid, I always wanted to run track and I wanted to play ball, right? And I remember back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, they used to have these ankle bracelets, those ankle weights that you put on. And I'd practice with those ankle weights, right? And so I'm practicing with those, but when I take them off, and especially in the mind of a 10-year-old, when I took those ankle weights off, now when I jumped, I felt like I was the $6 million man, Gus. I felt like it's like I would literally, if you remember those that are old enough to go back to the $6 million man, I would make the sounds, because I was practicing in a certain structure. And so when I came out of practice and I tried to take it into my game, that practice enhanced my game. And so in the same sense that mindfulness-based stress reduction, walking in that practice and then going back into the real world, I was able, just like you said, to be in the moment, curious, open, not judging, not, immediately shutting people down, or not even personally shutting myself down with my own thoughts, but opening everything up. So thank you so much for that. And then you went from that, and then you said you do the whole inner inmate and what you're doing with it, like you just got out of prison. Now we got to hear more about that. But let me ask you this before we do it. Why don't we do this? Let's step into one of the practices that you taught us, that you taught our class, as well as is a part of the MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction. And if you could maybe explain what we're going to do with this idea called the body scan. If you can explain some of that, and then we're going to walk right into it.
Great. Yeah, thanks. It is a fundamental practice of our classes, and it's been around for many years. Let's put it this way. What we'll be doing here is moving our attention through our body as the body lies still. And I'll be calling out body parts in a systematic, you'll see it's intuitive sense. I'm inviting you to bring your attention to that body part and just feeling what's there to be felt at that moment. So for instance, I come to the left knee, and you just do a feel. And if you don't feel any sensations, just know that experience. There's no need to create or visualize or touch the area to feel something. The lack of sensation is it's an actual experience. And then we move along and we just go through. And then, of course, whatever happens is really what within the discussion part that takes over and things like that after the practice.
Got it. Well, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive on in instead of just talking about it. One of the ideas that I wanted for this podcast, for this live streaming session that we do every week, is that we don't just talk about doing the practice. We don't just talk about prayer. We don't just talk about contemplation. We don't just talk about meditation. We actually do it. As awkward as it may seem to sit there and meditate on social media, but it may be just that more awkward for someone that's never done it to do it. So we're going to all enter into this unscripted, awkward place together, kind of socially holding each other's hands and being in community. And then afterwards, we'll talk about it. Okay. So I'm going to go on and give it to you, and you can start whenever you're ready.
All right. Thank you, Fred. So thank you for joining us, everybody, by the way. And if you care to join this practice, simply begin by settling the body on whatever you're going to be sitting or lying on. Traditionally, the longer body scans are done laying down, but the short ones like we're doing here can be done sitting up. So finding a comfortable seated or lying down position, allowing the body to settle on that seat. And then allowing the eyes to close or lowering the gaze. It's your choice whether to close the eyes or leave them open. And it's your choice. You have the option to open the eyes during the practice at any time. If you start with the eyes closed, feel free to open anytime if that's what's necessary. And then noticing the breath moving in and out of your body without doing anything to the breathing. There's no need to deepen it or change it or count it. Just breathing in, knowing the breath coming into the body, breathing out, knowing the breath leaving the body, breath by breath. And then bringing the attention to the belly to notice the rising of the belly on the in-breath, the falling on the out-breath. This is how we start the body scan, noticing that sensation we call rising, expansion, stretching of the muscle and skin as you breathe in, and then receding back, contracting as you breathe out. So we're not really paying attention to the breath, we're paying attention to the sensations of the breath at the belly. And you may notice the mind's tendency to wander away from the practice. It gets distracted by sounds and noises, it gets caught up in a story, gets seduced by some type of emotional situation, gets bored. If that's when that happens, please know that it's common, happens to all of us, and it's not a problem, a bad thing. You're not failing at this. It's just your mind doing its thing. So just noticing when that happens, remembering to come back to the practice. So as we now start the body scan by bringing our attention down to the feet and ankles. Feeling the toes, all 10 toes, the bottoms and tops of both feet, the heels, the ankles, sensations such as contact with socks, contact with a surface, tingling, vibrations, coolness, warmth, moisture, itchiness, tightness. There's no need to call them out or name them, just feel whatever sensations are happening in both feet and ankles. And then from the feet and ankles coming to the lower legs, the calf muscles and the shin bones. What are the sensations? Perhaps contact with clothing or contact with the atmosphere or with whatever you're lying or sitting on. And from the lower legs coming to the knees. So the kneecaps on top, the bends in the back of the knees, the knee joints, the inside, the outside of the knees. What are the sensations that are here now for you in the knees? And then from the knees to the thighs, the backs of the thighs likely up against the surface, making contact, pressure. Tops of the thighs, contact with clothing, itchiness, tingling. Noticing the thigh muscles, these big thigh muscles. Are they feeling tight or loose or somewhere in between? And from the thighs coming to the places where the legs join the body, the hip areas, the hip joints in the hip socket and the front and back of the hip areas. I'm taking a moment, noticing where is the attention? Is it on the hip areas, or is it wandered away into the future or the past? I'm beginning to fantasize or worry, getting bored, getting sleepy. And again, if it is, it's not a problem. No need to give yourself a hard time. Just gently and firmly return the attention back to the practice now to the entirety of the legs, from hip down to toes. Feeling all the different sensations happening through the legs. And from the legs to the buttocks. So here we have that sense of contact with whatever you're sitting or lying on. And just noticing if that contact is a pressure, a tightness, a warmth, a heat, a tingling, a pulling. No right or wrong as you do this. This is whatever your experience is, whatever you're sensing right now in the buttocks. And then from the buttocks to the entire back body. The lower back area with the low back muscles and that so lumbar spine, as it's called. The kidney areas, the flanks, the shoulder blades, the spinal column. The entirety of your back, upper and lower back. You're resting up against the surface, perhaps feeling that contact fluctuate with breath. And then coming around to the front side of the body, the front of the belly, front of the chest, and of course is rising and falling with the breath, feeling the skin, the muscles stretching, the rib cage opening as you breathe in, and release as you come back, exhale. And from the surface going inside the body here to the inside of the abdomen and chest, where all the organs, those critical organs that keep us alive are, what we sometimes call the core of the body. And if there are distractions, you get lost in thought, just note that and come back now, bringing the attention to the hands and fingers. To both hands and all 10 fingers and thumbs. Here you might feel tingling and vibrations, and the fingers may be in contact with the surface or in contact with each other. Throbbing, moisture, warmth, coolness. Generally feel quite a bit of sensations, but you may not. You may be not feeling hardly any or none at all. Again, it's your experience. And then from the hands coming to the wrists and the forearms together. A small area is called the wrist with lots of little structures and the entire length of both forearms. And then the elbows and upper arms. The bend in the elbows, creases of the elbows, elbow joints. Those muscles in the front of the upper arm called biceps muscles, in the back, the triceps muscles. So elbows and upper arms. And then to the shoulder areas, the muscles holding the arms onto the body, shoulder joints, armpits. What are the shoulders feeling like? Like the weight of the world is on them? Are they feeling light? Are the muscles tight or loose? Is there moisture, tingling? And from the shoulders coming to the neck, the muscles holding the head onto the body, maybe tight or loose, stiff or relaxed. So one side's tight, one side's relaxed. So the throat and inside the esophagus, the food tube, and the upper part of the spine, the entire neck, inside and outside. And if you swallow, noticing the sensations of swallowing as you swallow. And from the neck to the face, bringing the attention to the entire face from forehead to chin, left side to right side, skin, muscles, bones, and the sense organs, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. And you're feeling what sensations. Also noticing if the face is expressing any thoughts, feelings, or ideas, or you have a neutral face right now. And from the face to the scalp and hair, top of the head, back of the head, sides of the head, scalp and hair. And then the skull. And inside the skull to the brain. Any sensations coming from your brain. And from the brain, opening the attention to include the entirety of the head, inside and out. And then the entire body from head to toe, side to side, front to back, inside and out. So that your attention now includes and surrounds your whole body, allowing the body to be just as it is. As you begin to breathe with the whole body, as we say in our classes, as long as you're breathing, there's more right with you than wrong with you, no matter what's wrong. So abiding in that sense of wholeness and completeness, breathing with your entire body for a few breaths, awake to the experience of being alive in this moment. And then gathering the attention, bringing it back to the belly where we began. Noticing how the breath is now. As we come to an end of this short practice, taking a moment to congratulate yourself for the practice. Just being good with whatever it is that happened. And then lifting the gaze, opening the eyes if they've been closed, returning your attention back to your surroundings and then back to the screen. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Gus. I appreciate it, Doc. I think for me personally, when I experienced going through that body scan, I just different things happen. And this particularly, and I appreciate how you bring it. It's like it doesn't matter what happened, just notice it. It is okay. Bring no judgment to it. But this time, especially when we got to the part of breathing, back, after we went through the whole and got to the breathing with the whole body, I almost felt like I was being swept away. I was just like just lifted higher. I don't know if anybody, in fact, I like to encourage different people, maybe put in the comment section what you felt. What did you feel? Did you feel like you were falling asleep at a moment? Did you fall asleep? Did you wake back up? Whatever it was. Gus, could you explain to us, why is all of that is just all of it's significant and none of it's, minute?
Yeah, so that's great because this is, I think, a real important part. What we're trying to do here is just be in the present moment with whatever's happening, whether we want it or not, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. So whatever happens, as long as you're noticing, like the mind has wandered, I'm caught up in a story, I'm half asleep, you're practicing mindfulness. So we're aware, when we're aware that our mind is distracted or we're multitasking or we're doing things inappropriately, we have a better chance of responding with some wholesome or healthy or what matters rather than continuing an automatic pilot. So that's what we're trying to break. So we follow the body along. We notice the mind gets sleepy. And when we notice that, that's a moment of mindfulness. And we come back without judging. There is no need to judge. And that's another thing that happens. We cultivate a positive type attitude by not criticizing ourselves. And it becomes a kinder way of doing these practices. So you get the benefit of that, as well as the benefit of sharpening the focus, as well as the benefit of knowing how the mind can pull you in different directions and how you can pause before reacting. So,
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. I've listened several of your, of course, I went through the mindfulness based stress reduction, just the beginning of the class, and I want to continue to go on. I really want to continue to go on and to one day possibly help lead and be fully certified to go on and lead it. Maybe could you say for folks, if anyone's feeling that they're saying, man, I sure would like to do that, where do you start and how far do you go? You've been doing this for years. Like you said, you're semi-retired and doing it. How do you get into something like this?
Yeah, well, I mean, most people come to classes looking because they're suffering in some way. That happened to me. I came in 1998 is how I started mindfulness, coming to this course. And then I was practicing medicine, so I was sending patients so I could see both in myself how the benefits as well as in the patients. And the way to start is there's a lot of different ways. It really should be individualized. If you only have 5 minutes a day, then you can do a simple thing like we just did by paying attention just to the breath and maybe one body part. Some people I know can run a whole body scan in a minute or two. It's not important what you pay attention. I shouldn't say it this way. The quality of the attention and how you're paying attention is what's important. The object you're paying attention to is secondary. So whether you're using the breath or a body scan or even sounds or even something you're looking at, if you're looking at it with that non-judgmental present time awareness, you're practicing the mindfulness and getting the same benefits as opposed to a body scan. So you can start in anything. Now, in the mindfulness-based stress reduction courses, we took the deep dive with 40 minutes a day practices. And so
I remember those 40 minutes a day. In fact, if any of us would say to you, yeah, doc, I got 30 minutes in, or I got 20 minutes in, it was great because like after that third or fourth day, and we did, I forgot, what was it, 8 weeks that we did?
2 months.
2 months. All of us as students, we were kind of a little bit reluctant on telling you how honest, because you would say, oh, great, you did 15 minutes. Well, let's double it and do 30 minutes, or you did 20 minutes. Okay, great. You can go 40. I remember saying once I did 40 minutes, you were like, that was awesome. Let's see if you could do an hour. Let's go. And for us students, we were excited about it. And so I kind of was like, all right, let's go. And pushing and pressing into it. And there was so much benefit from it. So I'll never forget you telling us, let's double it. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Great.
Yeah, the practices are 40 minutes, and people would say, why not 30? Why not 20? We say, well, 30 minutes is a sitcom, and you can sit through those. So, we extend it out. And like you're saying, there's something that you can learn with those extra minutes. because again, we're not trying to establish here a relaxed state or quieting the mind or feeling good or altered state. Those things tend to happen on their own if we pay attention in this way, but we're not aiming for that. We're aiming to just be present with whatever's there, including what we don't like, so be it. What we like, so be it. Neutral stuff, so be it. So.
I think I've heard from you more than anyone, moment to moment, being in the moment to moment, being in the moment. And so it was so good. In fact, when I did in the song, in the album, Sacred Hum, I did a song that I called Hold That Thought. Yeah. And I got that, built that off of you, just us doing that body scan like that. And it was so encouraging to me that I thought I would love to pass this on to others and just to see how to focus on one piece or one idea and just hold it, even in the point of recognizing I'm letting the thought go, that's still coming back to the moment, or I've let the thought go. Oh, come back to the moment. And that's great. That's great. Let me ask you this, with what you're doing now, your website that we can go to, how can we get in touch with you? Let us know about your website and what you're doing.
Yeah, the easiest thing is go to my website. And my website's very bland in the sense that it's really set up just to alert everybody of my upcoming classes and sessions and things like that. And there's a contact form in there. So you find that contact and you can reach out to me. I love feedback. This is all I do. And believe it or not, I don't work anywhere near as hard as I did when I was working with practicing medicine. So please, like, you're available. I'm available 24/7.
Yes, you are.
I need the comments. I need the feedback. It makes me a better teacher. And also on my website are all my practice recordings that are up there for free. Anybody can listen to them or download them, whatever you like. A whole series.
So won't you give us the website?
Yeah, it's called innerinmate.com.
innerinmate.com. Now, could you explain to us, you said you just got out of jail, and so of course you're playing with that inmate in the inner. How are there different ways that you play with that whole idea and that word, innerinmate.com?
Well, the inner inmate came around because I was upset one day and somebody said, you should get in touch with your inner child. And I just freaked. I was already upset enough. And I said, inner child, because I thought that was so goofy and new agey and all the kind of science. It says, inner child. Get in contact with that little, you know what? He's the one that got me in all this damn trouble. And so the guy turned around and said to me, well, get in touch with your inner inmate then. And so then I said, oh, okay. That one. Let me go find that rascal.
Right. He's done some things in my life too, huh?
Yeah. So that was easier to go. And then, of course, I've been doing the prison work for 10 years, and it's one of the more rewarding, if not the most rewarding things I do. We call our group Arrested Development. And we meet every week, yeah.
I love it. Arrested Development. Now I'm sure you know that's a old school rap group as well. The rap group
a couple of their albums, yeah.
Yeah, Speech was still is. He's still doing stuff. He's doing it independent, which I think is best, because his stuff is so good and rich in content that it may not be, as cool for mainstream, but it sure is needed in this world. Speaking of things being needed in this world, one other thing that you've done and that you do in the summers that blesses me so much is that you take students that are from the inner city and you take them on meditation retreats. And I was, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And then
I'm a small part of that actually, and it's almost like they take us on the retreat. So this camp is set up to do all those so-called STEM things: science, technology, education. I forgot the math, and also art. And a big part of it is connecting with nature. So many of these people haven't been out. So we go to these beautiful. It's called the Patch of Heavens. So you can imagine what it's like down here. And there's beekeeping, bees, bats, and butterflies, as well as the plants. So they do that. And so there's a lot of social awareness, a lot of ecological awareness, as well as the science stuff. And they put mindfulness in as a big part of it. So once a week, I do the mindfulness with them. But the rest of the week, after the second week of the 7-week camp, their kids are teaching themselves and teaching the staff, and even coming home and telling their parents, Mom, take a breath, calm down.
So cool. Well, I was really blessed when I offered to throw, share the Hold That Thought with you, and you said that some of the kids were digging the track as well as the flow and the way it goes. And it was a really good point that you said that one of your staff members said, "Man, this is a good track. I just wish it was longer because the Hold That Thought is only a 6-minute track." And I was like, I know. In fact, what I said, I jokingly say it like this: it's like that first hit of crack, man. That just give it to them free. Just you get them hits, and once you feel what it's like, then you want more. That's my hope, is that with the Hold That Thought track, is that it's 6 minutes, but it's a good way for someone to get into the idea of what a body scan is. What we're going to do is we're going to actually put this scan that you led us through up on my YouTube site as well as my Facebook site, so people can go back to it. It's an entire 15-minute scan, and then my goal is to actually remix that Hold That Thought track as well and put it up for either a 20 or 30-minute because that way it stretches out, and it's a great way of practice. And once again, Doc, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for leading us. And thank you so much for coming and hanging out with my community. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. And thank you so much for the recording. They really loved it. I think you're going to put me out of business pretty soon if you keep it up, because it's really awesome. I'm a big thing. Sacred Home, everybody. Really cool stuff. So well, thank you, Fred.
Thank you, man. Well, I appreciate you. Much love. Thank you, guys. Well, guys, thank you once again for coming out and hanging out. Quick 30, 35 minutes. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take this into your week. Take the piece that you just developed and gained and garnered and use that to make this world a better place. Be wise and be well. We're out of here. Peace.